Hello, I'm John. I'm a CBT therapist and I've been helping clients to meet their goals since 2006. My experience and empathetic approach is based upon listening and responding to you carefully, reliably, and without prejudice. In CBT, we identify and reshape your negative or inaccurate thinking habits. We can work through issues, thoughts, feelings, relationships, and situations, both at home and in work, giving you new perspectives and skills to cope and to thrive. If you're lying awake at night, worrying about the planet, or if news about wildfires or melting ice caps or species loss leaves you feeling sick with dread, or if you're carrying a quiet, persistent grief about the world that your children or the next generations will inherit, I want you to know that what you're feeling is real, it's rational, and that you're not alone. Climate anxiety, sometimes called eco-anxiety or climate distress, is one of the fastest growing presenting concerns I see in my practice. It affects people across all ages and backgrounds, but I see it particularly among professionals who understand the science, parents who fear for their children's futures, and people who work in sustainability or climate-related fields. They often carry the weight of knowing just how serious the situation is. What makes climate anxiety distinctive and what makes it especially difficult to talk about is that it's grounded in reality. This isn't a phobia or an irrational fear. The climate crisis is real and the threats are genuine. So when I say that CBT can help, I'm not suggesting that we need to change your beliefs about the climate. We don't, but what we do work with in therapy is how those beliefs interact with your emotional responses, your thinking patterns and your behaviour, because that's where the suffering can often live and that's where change is possible. Let me explain. So many people are experiencing climate distress and they describe a cycle. You read the news, you feel overwhelmed, you feel guilty for not doing enough. You try to do more, you burn out, and then you withdraw. The withdrawal brings shame, which drives you back to the news and the cycle starts again. Others describe a paralyzing sense of helplessness, the feeling that nothing that you do as an individual could possibly matter at the scale required. That thought, nothing I do makes a difference, is one of the most common and disabling patterns that I see. In CBT, we work with these patterns directly. We examine the specific thoughts that amplify your distress, the catastrophizing, the all or nothing thinking, the personalization of responsibility, the mental filtering that screens out progress and focuses only on loss. We don't dismiss your concern, we help you hold it, but without being crushed by it. The aim is to find a sustainable emotional relationship with an unsustainable situation, but one that allows you to stay engaged, stay informed, and take meaningful action, but without sacrificing your mental health in the process. We also look at behaviour. Climate anxiety often drives avoidance. People stop reading, stop engaging, stop talking about it because the feelings can be too much, too overwhelming. Or it goes the other way. It drives compulsive behaviour, endless doom scrolling, obsessive carbon counting, agonising over every purchase. CBT helps you find a middle ground. Informed engagement without overwhelm, purposeful action without perfectionism. So I want to be open about something that makes my approach to this area a little bit different. Alongside my therapy practice, I work as a sustainability and ESG consultant, and I've spent over 15 years working in corporate sustainability at a senior level, including leading global environmental strategy as a major international financial institution. I assess organisations against environmental and governance standards, and I've worked with the NHS, with social enterprises, and with organisations across multiple sectors on climate strategy and impact measurement. I say this not to list credentials, but because it matters for our work together. When you tell me that you're terrified about tipping points, or that you feel complicit in a system that's destroying the planet, or that your company's ESG commitments feel like greenwash, I understand what you're talking about. I understand the position. I've seen it, I've sat in the boardrooms. I've seen the gap sometimes between rhetoric and reality, and I've also seen genuine progress and commitment. That means I can help you hold complexity rather than collapsing into despair. I can help you distinguish between the things that are genuinely catastrophic and the things that your anxious mind is amplifying. And it can help you find where your own agency actually lies. And for me, that was For instance, shifting to be the greenest that I could be, shifting to an electric car in 2015, getting a solar panel fitted with batteries and an air source heat pump at home. These things don't happen overnight. This is, over a decade long project to be as green as we possibly can. And for some clients, particularly those who work in climate and sustainability fields, the therapeutic work also involves navigating what I think of as a moral injury, the distress that comes from working within systems that you know may be causing some harm, or from feeling that your professional efforts are insufficient. If you're a sustainability officer drowning in reporting requirements whilst watching emissions rise, or a researcher who understands the data and can't switch off the implications, our work together can address both the psychological impact and the practical strategies for sustaining yourself in that role. There's just one thing to say, and it's important. Seeking help for climate anxiety is not a sign of weakness, and it's not a sign that you care too much. It's a sign that you're responding honestly to an extraordinary situation, and that you're looking for ways to carry that response without it overwhelming your life. That takes courage, and it's exactly the kind of work CBT is designed to support. The planet needs people who care deeply and who can sustain that care over the long term. I wish you resilience, clarity, and hope. And if you'd like to be supported in finding your way through climate distress, I'm here. Do get in touch.